The summer chaos is already underway. The New York Knicks have acquired Derrick Rose by trade. The Chicago Bulls giving up on Derrick Rose, trading him away to the New York Knicks for Robin Lopez, Jose Calderon, and the rookie point guard Grant. Most Bulls fans, they're not happy with this trade, even though Derrick Rose, it's been a tough last few seasons with the injury, him missing games. But most Bulls fans, their initial reaction is they wish that they would have gotten more for Derrick Rose. They don't want him to go out like this, to just get traded away like this. Now, the Bulls, they've been making a lot of changes as an organization. They recently fired Tom Thibodeau, which is a great head coach, by the way. I think that was a mistake, so they get rid of him. Then at the end of the season, you remember Joakim Noah was basically saying he's not coming back. He's leaving via free agency. He's lost hope in the organization. He's lost trust. And a lot of Chicago Bulls fans, they've said the same things, actually. They've been saying they don't really like the direction that the Bulls are going in. This is a very interesting trade for the Knicks. It's not much of a risk because Derrick Rose has 1 year left on his contract. So if this year doesn't work out, then they can just let him go via free agency. But if he has a breakout season, then they'll have something to think about in the offseason next year. But it's definitely possible. Derrick Rose is 27 years old. Before his first injury, he was the MVP. He was a phenomenal player, and you know he has game. He still got some of that in the tank. The Knicks are in desperate need of a point guard for the last few seasons, and now they have a guy that is a very good point guard. He's actually a point guard first before anything else. He's a phenomenal scorer, or he used to be. But he's always been passing, setting up teammates, getting them open. Yeah, he would take over games in Chicago, and in fact, they would encourage him to do that because their offense was so bad, especially during the years where he was playing at that MVP level. But he is definitely a pass-first type of point guard. He's a good defender, so there's really no risk. You see what happens. Maybe he has a breakout season. If he has a breakout season, that's very interesting for the New York Knicks with Melo, with Porzingis, and then, of course, they still have cap space to go after a guy like Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard has actually expressed interest in playing for the New York Knicks. Who knows what the Knicks do here, but obviously they're not done. And they have options. They could even go after Noah. Joakim Noah would be a good fit. Maybe a Pau Gasol. They have a lot of options here in this free agency. And the best thing about Derrick Rose is since he's in a contract year, he has 1 year left. You know that he wants to get a big contract. He wants to be able to re-sign, so he's going to be playing his heart out. A lot of players, when they're in that contract year, they start balling like you've never seen. Like Kyle Lowry. When Lowry was in the contract year, he was looking like a boss. He was looking like a top 5 point guard. He was balling. Don't you remember Darren Williams in his contract year? Oh, he was putting on a show. Remember when they used to compare him to CP3 and how great he was? And he was putting up all kinds of numbers. The same thing for guys like Joe Johnson. So many players in this league, when they're in that contract season, they start going off. And Derrick Rose has a lot to prove. If he can just show glimpses of that MVP Rose, what an interesting season it would be, especially if the Knicks go ahead and pick up somebody like Dwight. On paper, that would be a fun team to watch. You have Dwight to protect the paint. They need that defensive presence. Then you have Melo, who's still a great scorer. He's no longer in his prime, but he's still a very effective scorer. And with a guy like Derrick Rose helping to set him up so that he doesn't have to do all the dribbling and all of the work. Very interesting. You still got the rookie Porzingis putting on a show. There could be some excitement in the garden here. I know a lot of Knicks fans, they're very happy with this trade. I've talked to many of them already. What a way to start off the offseason with a trade like this. There's other trades as well. The Indiana Pacers, they just acquired Jeff Teague from the Atlanta Hawks. It was a 3-team trade where the Jazz get George Hill. I think this is another good trade for pretty much all the teams involved. The Pacers especially, though, because Jeff Teague, I think, fits in better than George Hill. They need to play faster. They need more of an offensive player. George Hill, he's more of an all-around player. He's a better defender than Teague. But what's interesting about Jeff Teague is that he even said at the end of the season, he said that all season long he was dealing with an injury. And that's why he wasn't able to do the things that he wanted to do. He wasn't as fast. He wasn't as effective. And if you remember the season before, he played much better. So if that's true, if he was really dealing with an injury and now he's healthy, the Pacers, they acquired a great point guard. He's going to fit in so much better. He's going to help that team out. They're going to be playing much faster. Offensively, they're going to be much better. And Jeff Teague is also much younger than George Hill. I think that trade is a good deal for the Pacers. And last but not least, LeBron James did confirm that he will re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers to come back next season. There were a lot of rumors that LeBron James was leaving the Cavs to go to the Lakers because he just recently bought this mansion in LA, and apparently he enrolled his kids into schools in LA. So some people believed, hey, he did what he said he was going to do. He brought the championship to Cleveland. He no longer needs to do anything else in Cleveland. Now he's free to leave in free agency, and they thought that maybe he would go to the Lakers. But he confirms today he's going to re-sign, so now we can at least put that to the side until maybe next season. Who knows with LeBron James. The Cleveland sports curse has finally been lifted by LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was such an impressive Game 7 performance, one of the best ever. This Cleveland Cavaliers team is the first team in NBA history to win a championship coming back down